Okay, John, thank you. The latest on the plot to bomb New York includes two unsettling revelations. The suspected ringleader in the conspiracy, Sadiq Ibrahim Sadiq Ali, once worked as a security guard for a company housed in the World Trade Center before it was bombed. And there is a report that two Sudanese diplomats plan to provide special license plates and ID cards to the terrorists so they could plant a bomb inside the United Nations building. Plus, an eighth suspect in the conspiracy made a courtroom appearance today. The judge refused to give him a break. News 4's Tiwa Chang is live in Lower Manhattan to tell us more about what happened in court. Tiwa?
What happened basically was a bail hearing for the eighth suspect here at the U.S. federal court. His name is Fadil Abdelghani. And to no one's surprise, the judge denied him bail, saying he was a risk to the community and a risk of flight. Before U.S. Magistrate Judge James Francis, the defendant, 31-year-old Fadil Abdelghani from Jersey City, sought to be released on bail. But Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy argued that Fadil should be denied bail because he was a danger to the community. The government had videotaped, McCarthy said, of Abdelghani actually mixing chemicals in a 55-gallon drum to make the bombs intended, they say, for the UN 26 Federal Plaza and the Holland and Lincoln tunnels. McCarthy said Abdelghani was from the Sudan, where his entire family still lived, even though he was a legal permanent U.S. resident. The assistant U.S. attorney seemed to imply Abdelghani became a legal resident by marrying an American woman whom he never sees anymore. Defense attorney Charles Levine only asked for the ability to come back at a later date if his defendant can raise money for bail, but offered no defense for his client, who said he's innocent. Judge Francis denied Abdelghani the bail, saying he was both a risk of flight and a danger to the community. Abdelghani, who worked as a livery cab driver for Cousins Medical Delivery Service in Jersey City, did not express any emotion. Now, curiously enough, some court documents I happened to look at earlier this afternoon indicate the only possession that Abdelghani says he has is a $3,000 Dodge van. It will be interesting to see whether or not the prosecution tries to link that van with the alleged suspected bombing attempt. A further note, of the 8 suspects who are now in custody, all of them in fact are in custody a block behind me here at the Metropolitan Correctional Facility. Those 8 suspects, 6 of them will have bail hearings for the rest of the week. Only the suspected ringleader, Sadiq Ibrahim Sadiq Ali, has been held in detention without any hearing at all. Basically, nolo contendere means he's not contesting his detention. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, Tiwa Chang, News 4, New York.
Tiwa, does it appear that the other bail hearings will go very much like today's?
If one had to guess, certainly it seems that way. In the courtroom, it seemed as if it was a foregone conclusion that his bail would be denied. I mean, because of the publicity and the overwhelming evidence, especially when he said that they actually have him on videotape. The government's claim is they actually have these suspects on videotape mixing the bomb in those 55-gallon drums.
And what about the other suspects? Are they also on videotape, and are their circumstances similar?
We don't know yet, but certainly a number of them were. That safe house, according to the FBI, was a safe house that their own confidential informant had set up, and it put cameras inside of that. So one would have to believe at least a large number of them are on videotape, and that will certainly come out during the bail hearings during the rest of the week.
All right, Tiwa, thank you very much.
Well, it looks like a quiet camp in a rural part of Pennsylvania, but tonight federal agents say it's a training ground for terrorists who set their violent sights on New York City. The camp is in the town of New Bloomfield, 30 miles northwest of Harrisburg. The 35-acre retreat was searched for 5 hours on Saturday by federal authorities hunting for weapons. They were led to the camp by Imad Ali Salem, the undercover informant who helped expose the terrorist ring. Several suspects in the World Trade Center bombing, as well as some of the 8 men arrested in last week's plot, are believed to have trained at that camp. Kevin Rosen is at the camp, and he'll have more tonight on News 4 at 6.
The plot to bomb New York is just the latest case where police have drawn links between the suspects and New Jersey Sheik Omar Abdelrahman. But the Sheik remains free, apparently on orders from Washington. News 4's Ben Farnsworth is live in Jersey City to explain what some are calling a hands-off policy. Ben?
Well, Matt, the Sheik Omar Abdelrahman is not in his apartment now, and in fact hasn't been here for the last couple of days. The last time he was seen was Saturday afternoon. Some reporters followed him as far as they could, and he was heading down the New Jersey Turnpike. One of the people who was with him quipped that they were going to Atlantic City. But his whereabouts at this point are still unknown. And of course, although he is not to be found, there is still an awful lot of talk about him because, as we know, the investigation has centered on the Sheik. And the question why he has not been arrested. And there are a number of theories being put forth. Of course, the obvious one that we have read about so much in the press the last few days has been presented by the government, that the information they have on him is fuzzy, that they don't have enough evidence to pursue him in the case, even though, of course, his voice has shown up on some of the tapes, according to reports, and that he had prior knowledge to the plot. Another theory is that he is a magnet who is drawing these terrorist-prone individuals around him, and that the government would like to keep him in place right where he is, so that so that the government can keep an eye on these people. And of course, the third is that he may be more helpful than we think. There are some people who think that the Sheikh himself may be helping the U.S. government in this regard. So at this point, the Sheikh is nowhere to be found. The question is, why hasn't he been arrested? And the inside information from some Middle Eastern experts is that the government may not want him arrested at this point. Matt, Sue, back to you.
Ben, thank you.